So remember last time we had looked at a cell and we talked about the organelles which are found in a cell and also a plant and animal cell. Now, another thing that you need to understand is those basic cells that we talked about. We talked about the differences between an animal cell and a plant cell. Just to help us remember, we said that here is an animal cell and then a plant cell. So with that, we said that a plant cell, starting with the similarities, these two cells have got a cytoplasm. What else? Uh-huh. A cell wall. Actually, not a cell wall, but a cell membrane. Mm-hmm. And then, yes, vacuum space. Okay, they have got a nucleus. So, so these three things are the common things. And then the differences is that a plant has got a vacuole, an animal cell doesn't have a vacuole. Okay, that is one difference. Any other difference? A plant has got a cell wall, an animal cell has got no cell wall. Anything else? hmm So the mitochondria is found in all of them. Yes, mitochondria, ribosomes, and those other things are found in all of them. Okay, so the important differences that you have to, so the important differences that you have to know are these ones here. A plant cell has got a cellulose, animal cell doesn't have. Vacuole, animal cell doesn't have. Chloroplast, animal cell doesn't have. And then also the cell is bigger, and then the animal cell it is smaller. All right. Now, cell specializations, these are just things which are going to be found on a cell so that that cell can be able to work in the environment in which it will be. Okay, things you are going to find on a cell so that it can be able to work on in the environment in which it is going to be. That is what we call cell specialization. The first specialized cell is known as a ciliated cell. So what they can ask me in the exam is the function and the adaptation. So what is the function of the cell and why is it specialized? Why is it not just a normal cell? So starting with the function, a ciliated cell, as you can hear, it has got cilia on top. Okay, so the function of a ciliated cell is you are going to find these ciliated cells in the respiratory system or respiratory tract, and their aim is when someone has got, let's say, they inhale something or dust particles or germs, it will be able to sweep away because what happens that mucus will trap dust particles and germs, and that mucus now has to be pushed away from the respiratory system. So that is why you need these ciliated cells. That is one function. Also in ladies, in the oviduct or the fallopian tube, these ciliated cells are there to be able to push the egg or the ovum towards the uterus. So these are the two functions of ciliated cells. And then why are they adapted for that function? Why can they perform that function? That is what we call adaptation. One thing is that they have got cilia, very important, the presence of cilia. This is cilia that you can see on top here. Okay. And another function, because remember they are doing a lot of function. This cilia is pushing the egg, is pushing the mucus. So you need energy. Yes. So you need energy. So where is that energy going to come from? From the mitochondria. So they have got a lot of mitochondria to be able to give them energy for the movement of cilia. Okay. So these ciliated cells have got a lot of mitochondria. To, yes, high presence of mitochondria, so that the cell can have energy to power the cilia to push, to do the function, to push the mucus or to push the egg. Another specialized cell is a root hair cell. They can even ask you to draw this one. Now, the root hair cells are found near the tips of the root. So, if this is your plant, say like that, and then it goes in the ground, you have got the roots in the ground. So, there is that part of the roots that will be able to absorb water and nutrients in the ground. That is known as a root hair cell. So, what is the function of the root hair? To absorb water and nutrients. Okay, good. Yes, minerals. The other function is to anchor the plant in the ground, because these ones will go in the ground like that so that the plant cannot fall. Okay. Now, what makes the root hair cell to be able to perform its function? You can see it has got an elongated outgrowth. So as an elongated outgrowth or a long extension, and this extension is it will increase the surface area so that diffusion can fastly happen. And diffusion is important for absorption to take place, for things, for nutrients and water to move from the ground into the cell so that that water can go up the plant, all right? And then the other thing is that there are no chloroplasts. So the absence of chloroplasts will make sure that there is more space for absorption, more space to accommodate water, more space to accommodate nutrients, so that those can be pushed and they can be taken up the plant. And then there's also a high concentration of mitochondria, because you need energy. Okay, because the absorption here that is happening here, for you to absorb water and nutrients, that process is active. And the meaning of active, it involves energy. So you need that mitochondria to provide energy for active reabsorption to happen. Apart from that, there is also numer- these cells that you can see, these root hair cells, they are a lot. So that is another adaptation. They are a lot so that you can be able to increase surface area and absorb more compounds. Is that okay? Good. Another specialized cell that you need to know is the xylem cell. Now, the xylem cell is a conduction cell. It allows water to move, water and mineral salts. Now, the thing is that for the xylem cell, it will allow movement only in one direction. So, it will allow water and mineral salts to be able to move in one direction. Apart from that, it is also necessary for mechanical support of the plant. Now, you really need to know about the adaptations. Why is it that the xylem cell can be able to conduct water and mineral salts? Remember, this is conduction, just allows water and mineral salts to move up. And why is it necessary for mechanical support? One function, one adaptation is that its end walls, the end walls of the neighboring cells are perforated. The meaning of perforated is that they are broken to form a continuous tube. Okay, so if you look at this cell here, this was supposed to be one cell, this was supposed to be one cell, this is another cell, and then this is also another cell. You can see at this end, because we're supposed to have like a cell, something like this. You have one cell here and then a different cell here. Now these cells are going to be broken. They are going to be perforated. The aim for the perforation or for it to be broken is to create a continuous route. Because if let's say one cell ends here, this is one cell, and then another cell is here. These cells at this point, they are preventing the movement of things from one cell to the next. So that's why those cells which are next to each other are going to be broken to leave space such that if things are moving from this one cell to the next cell, they'll just be able to move direct like that. Okay. And then for these cells, their protoplasm is absent, meaning that they don't have the nucleus. Remember we said the protoplasm is made up of the nucleus, the cell wall, the cell membrane, and the cytoplasm, that living part. So their protoplasm is absent, and so that will leave a hollow space in the middle of the cell. This is the space that you can see, so that water can be conducted in this space. This is important. Please take note. They can ask you that in the exam. And also the walls are going to be filled with lignin. Now remember I said that one function of xylem cell is to provide mechanical support. The plant stands. The plant is not like this. It doesn't fall. If you look at the mango tree, it's not bent like that. That's called mechanical support. And what's responsible for that mechanical support is lignin. So the plant is lignified, and that provides mechanical support. Another specialized cell is a muscle cell. Now, for a muscle is used in contraction. That's the function, contraction. Why is a muscle specialized for contraction? Why is it that a muscle can contract? One reason as to why it can contract is that it has got a lot of mitochondria, which is going to be able to release energy. And when that energy is released, contraction can happen. And then there's also actin and myosin, very important, right? So there's actin and myosin filaments, and these are going to be able to contract. These are the contractile filaments of a muscle. So what will be happening is that actin will slide over, actually myosin will slide over actin, and that causes contraction. And there are three types of muscles. You have got the cardiac muscle, which is found in the heart. You have got the skeletal muscle. Skeletal muscle is found almost in the entire body. The muscles that you can see on your body are actually skeletal muscles. And then you have got smooth muscles. Now, smooth muscles are going to be found in internal organs, for example, in the intestines. Okay, so that's where we're going to find smooth muscles. Just the thing is that cardiac muscles, you can see they have got lines. We call these as striations. So they are striated muscles. Same way with skeletal muscles, they have got striations. Smooth muscles, even from the word smooth, they don't have striations. That's why they are smooth muscles. Okay, so that is for the muscles. Another thing is that for skeletal cardiac muscles, you can see the nucleus is on the middle. Skeletal muscles, the nucleus is at the end. We say at the periphery. peripheral nucleus. And then for smooth muscles, their nucleus is on the middle and it is spindle shaped. Spindle shaped. It looks as though it has been pulled. Other type of specialized cells are the red blood cells. Red blood cells are also known as erythrocytes. Now, red blood cells are involved in the transportation of oxygen. They transport oxygen and they also transport a little carbon dioxide. Now, why is it that red blood cells are adapted to transporting oxygen and carbon dioxide? One thing is that they have got a biconcave shape, and this biconcave shape is going to make them big enough for diffusion of oxygen. So it increases the surface area for oxygen to diffuse. They also have a red pigment which is known as hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is what binds, what carries oxygen. So when hemoglobin combines with oxygen, you form what is called the oxyhemoglobin. Actually, one hemoglobin is going to carry four oxygens at a time. Okay, like that to form oxyhemoglobin. And this oxygen now can move from the lungs and it will be taken to the rest of the body. Another thing is that red blood cells don't have a nucleus. Because they don't have a nucleus, it makes them have enough space to carry oxygen. So this is it. If you view from the top, if you view from this side, this is how it will look like. And if you view from the side, this is your red blood cell, which is biconcave in shape. Another specialized cell is a nerve cell. A nerve cell is known as a neuron. Now, what is the function of a nerve? A nerve is to conduct electrical impulses from one part of the body to another. These electrical impulses, also known as nerve impulses, are what enables you to feel. If you step on a nail, if your nerves are not working, you can't feel it that you have been hurt. Okay? If you, let's say, if you get touched without nerves, you will not feel that someone has touched you. So for you to have those nerve impulses, you need these nerves. That's the function, to carry out nerve impulses or electrical impulses. Now, what are the adaptations? Why is it that these nerves are able to perform that function of conducting the nerve impulses? The first thing is that they have got dendrites. If you look at the way a nerve is, these are what we call dendrites. So the nerve has got a body. This is a cell body that you can see. From the cell body, you're having dendrites coming out. And then this come along thing that you can see here is what we call the axon. And then these axons are going to be having myelin sheath. This is the myelin sheath, these ones you can see. Now between myelin sheaths, there is a little space which we call the node of Ranvier. And then at the end, that's where I've got the synaptic knob that is attached to a muscle. So one adaptation of a nerve is they have got dendrites. And these dendrites will be able to collect information or impulses from one cell to the other cell. So dendrites collect information from neighboring cells. And then they are also having axons. Axons are the ones which will be able to carry impulses from one end of the neuron to another end. Okay. And then they also have a synaptic knob, the synaptic knob at the end. And that synaptic knob forms a link with other neurons. So it will be able to connect one nerve to another nerve so that when information is spreading, it can move from one nerve to the next, to the next, to the next, until it goes to the target. If you want to, if you it is to feel pain, you can be able to feel that pain. Apart from that, there are also nodes of Ranvier. So remember we said that the nodes of Ranvier, these are basically the spaces between myelin sheaths. This is a myelin sheath, this is another one, this is another one. So these spaces. And the function is that these nodes of Ranvier will make an impulse to be very fast. Immediately you step on fire, you are going to be able to feel the fire and remove your leg very, very fast. Okay, so that is it. So the parts of the neuron have the nucleus, cytoplasm, and the cell body. This is the cell body which contains the nucleus and the cytoplasm also. Is there any question? Okay. Now there are three many types of neurons. You need to know this. Make sure you know. There is a motor neuron, a sensory neuron, and a relay neuron. A motor neuron, you can see how it is. It actually has a normal cell body and everything like that. Se- uh, a, a motor neuron carries information. Okay, motor neuron will carry information. For example, if your muscle has been injured, the motor neuron will be able to carry that information to the central nervous system. Take note of that. Huh? While a sensory neuron will enable you to feel the pain, to be able to sense. So it will send information from the central nervous system, and then motor is to the central nervous system. And then you have got a relay neuron. Now the relay will be able to connect these two neurons. It will be able to connect the sensory neuron and the motor neuron. That's the function of the relay neuron. If you look at the sensory, if they can give you these diagrams, immediately you see a cell body is on the middle. Just know that that is a sensory neuron, because for a motor neuron, the cell body you can see it is at the end there, this big one here. And then if you look at a relay neuron, it has a very small cell body and a lot of dendrites. This is a small body, very small. And then it doesn't have any myelin. You can see it doesn't have any myelin like this one and this one. So it is not myelinated. The other types or specialized cells are white blood cells, also known as, these ones are known as leukocytes. Now, white blood cells are involved in fighting infections or diseases, and they do their function by two way. They can actually be classified in two. You have got phagocytes or lymphocytes. Phagocytes or lymphocytes. Starting with phagocytes, as the word says, these ones are involved in phagocytosis. To phagocytosis, just to eat something. So they are going to engulf. To engulf is to surround something. So what they will do is that these cells will be able to surround something like this. This is the thing that they've surrounded. And then they'll be able to swallow it when they, so that is to engulf. And then they'll be able to digest, okay, foreign bodies. What are foreign bodies? These are just the things which do not belong to us. They can make us sick. Now, what makes phagocytes to do this function is that they have got a bilobed nucleus. Their nucleus has got two lobes. It is something like this. It's one nucleus, but it has got two lobes. This one and this one. So this bilobed nucleus makes engulfing of germs to be easy. And then They also move like an amoeba. So they'll be able to move towards anything. So the amoeba movement makes it possible for them to move towards the germs and then be able to engulf the germs. So this is the phagocyte. You can see the bilobed nucleus. Apart from that, they have no fixed shape. Because they don't have a fixed shape, they are able to change their shape, and that will enable them to engulf foreign bodies. Very important there. The other types, the other type of white blood cell is the lymphocyte. Now, lymphocytes, these ones are going to be involved in fighting infections, and they do that not by engulfing but by producing antibodies and antitoxins. Antibodies are going to be able to destroy foreign bodies, things which uh, do not belong to our bodies. Antitoxins are going to be able to neutralize poisons or toxic substances. So that is the difference between these. Okay, antibody will be able to destroy foreign bodies or germs, and toxins will be able to neutralize poisons. Now, what is the adaptation? What makes the lymphocytes to be able to do their function? They have got a very large nucleus, and you can see this whole black thing is a nucleus, and then this one you can see here is a cytoplasm, a very thin cytoplasm. Okay, very large nucleus and a thin cytoplasm. The other specialized cell you need to know is a guide cell. Now, this guide cell will be able to surround a stroma or a stoma. A stoma is just this space that allows water to be able to leave the leaf. So these cells that you can see surrounding that space are what we call guide cells. What are their functions? They will control the size of the stoma. They can either open or close so that the stoma can allow things to be able to pass through them or prevent things from passing through. Now, what are the adaptations? Why is it that they're able to do this function? One is that they occur in pairs. These guide cells occur in pairs with a semicircular shape. Okay, you can see this shape here is semicircular, not full circle, semicircular. And that is going to be able to allow the function of these cells to be able to be carried out. When they are turgid, they are going to have a semicircular shape. What we mean by turgid is they are more like strong. They are going to have this shape that you can see here. You need to know, please, these cells are going to be semicircular when turgid. And then they are going to be straight when they are plasmolized, when they have relaxed. So like this, these cells have the stoma is closed because the guide cells are plasmolized or they are relaxed, so they've become straight. Another adaptation is that they have got a thicker uh, wall around the stoma than anywhere else. So the wall here is very much thick here as in comparison to this one that you can see here. And that makes it possible for the stoma to open when these cells absorb water. So when they absorb water, the stoma will be able to open and like that. Please, that is very important. Take note of that. Those are questions they can bring in the exam. Another specialized cell is a phloem cell. Now, a phloem cell can transport things. Remember we said talked of the xylem. Xylem cell only transports things going up the plant. But a phloem cell can transport nutrients going up or even synthesize the nutrients going down. So that's a difference. A phloem cell things can move in both directions, while a xylem only in one direction. You can see how the structure is. We have got a companion cell. Each cell has got also sheath plates. You can see some sheath plates there. Like they are more like uh, the way a mosquito net is. It can allow things to be able to pass through there. That's how they are. You can see this is a companion cell, and then this is the end plate, the sheath end plate here, which can allow things to pass through. So what are the adaptations of this phloem cell? They have got end plates which are perforated to form sheath plates. They have got openings different from the xylem cells. I think I'd mentioned perforated, but those are not perforated. They actually continuously open to allow things to totally be able to pass through them. Apart from that is that the protoplasm is partly lost, not fully lost. Okay, and that will be able to leave behind some cytoplasmic strands. And then they also have companion cells. The companion cells will be able to supply the phloem with enzymes and ATP. ATP is the energy so that these cells can be able to perform their function. Please make sure that you know the adaptations. Another cell is a palisade cell, very important cell. A palisade cell is a cell that carries out photosynthesis. And actually, a palisade cell, every time you see a cell which is straight up like this, it is longer going upwards. That's a palisade cell. And it has got a lot of chloroplast because photosynthesis happens in the chloroplast. The cells are also longer vertically. They are longer in this way. I can remember answering this question in my exam than horizontally. And that is going to allow the chloroplasts to be able to migrate upwards and downwards. Okay. When light intensity is changing. So if you have got more light intensity, they'll be able to move. If you have got less light intensity, they'll also be able to move. And that the aim is to prevent them from being damaged. So where there is more light, the chloroplast will be able to move away. Where there is less light, the chloroplast will be able to go towards there. So you can see this is a palisade cell with the basic part, the nucleus, the chloroplast, the vacuole, the cytoplasm, the cell membrane, and the cell wall. So these are the cells which are specialized for some specific functions. And so we are going to end here.